Oh, my heart and my soul bleeds for Israel and what's going on right now. I think the anti-Semitism here personally in Los Angeles is abhorrent. To sit home and not do anything, I know it's unfathomable to me. I have to support my homeland. I have to support our Jewish people, especially here in Los Angeles. And my heart and prayers are always with the people in Israel, especially the hostages.
Are there lessons that the former Soviet Union Americans have to teach the world, you think, in terms of anti-Semitism and expulsion or persecution and expulsion?
Well, that's the reason why my parents brought me here, was to be free, to be a free Jew, to not be persecuted. My father wasn't able to attend university because he was a Jew. My grandfather had to pay a university for my mother to be able to attend a university because she's Jewish. My parents brought me here so I can have freedom. And I do have freedom, and I'm so grateful. This is the best country in the world. Nothing compares to the United States. But the loud voices we hear now that are so full of hate for Jewish people just for being Jewish, I don't understand. If this was any other community, the African American community, Asians, Muslims, the world would be upside down supporting these groups. So because we're Jews, the silence is deafening. It's sad.
Yeah. How old were you when you left Ukraine?
I left when I was 7, and we got here when I was 8.
So what have you learned from your folks, your family, about your society, about propaganda, and how does the way that the Israel situation is being reported parallel what was done in propaganda in the former Soviet Union?
Well, the former Soviet Union propaganda and their media, it's state-controlled media. The journalists don't really have, if I can say, freedom of speech to say whatever they want to say. It's what Putin or whoever the leaders were at that time, Brezhnev, I recall when we left, the media was controlled by the state. Here the mainstream media is controlled by liberal or progressives, unless you're watching another channel, which I don't want to say. But it's very, very sad that people are afraid to sometimes speak the truth. I don't know who they're trying to offend. Nobody takes offense to promoting peace, to promoting love, and just being loving people that want peace in the world. I don't understand what negative propaganda there is against that.
When the Russian-Ukraine war broke out, Americans didn't fault Ukraine for fighting back, but it seems now that Israel is fighting back against this terrible massacre and war from the south in Gaza and from Hezbollah in the north. Iran's proxies in that area. People are against Israel or opposing, and the reportage is vilifying Israel in a way that they didn't vilify or haven't vilified the Ukrainian army.
I think there's a simple answer, one-word answer for that. It's because we're Jewish. That's it. We're Jewish. And I can't even expand on that because it's one word, because we're Jews. That's it. That's why they don't want to support us. Whether it's in Europe, in Canada, in South America, it's because we're Jews.
What does that represent when you say because we're Jews?
For me, it's tradition, it's culture, it's family, it's love, it's peace, and that's why it's so hard to understand why don't people want to support a nation, a group of people that all they want to do is promote peace and love. People were brutally massacred, killed in ways that are just unimaginable. And still, as you heard today during our rally, they still want peace. They still have love in their hearts. I mean, what does that say about our people?
Well, weren't most of the massacre victims very liberal towards the Palestinians and Palestinian sovereignty?
Yes, I mean, one of the reasons the Nova festival took place on the border of Gaza is because they were promoting dancing and freedom, and they wanted to dance with their neighbors 2 miles away from them. That's just the irony in that is horrible. They were dancing for peace. They were dancing to promote peace. Liberals were dancing to promote peace. It doesn't matter if you're liberal or conservative. I don't want to put labels on anybody. People just want peace and love.
Well, the Israelis do.
The Israelis do. I think the ignorant people don't understand that. And that's the problem. There's too many ignorant people that don't understand the history of Israel, that don't understand the history of the Middle East, and are watching way too much TikTok and way too much social media that they just don't know what they're talking about. It's time for them to go back to school and learn something.
Well, TikTok is owned by the Communist Party of China in the same way that the Communist Party, the Russian Revolution also vilified Jews as a way to bring their party to a revolutionary power. You see a similarity with the Marxists today?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it always seems like every single conflict we have, whether Jews are related or not, it's always the Jews' fault. Just recently, there was an Iranian general at the funeral for one of the generals in Beirut, and ISIS claimed responsibility for his murder. Not for his murder, for the murder of dropping the bomb during the funeral. And the Iran-backed regime said it was ISIS controlled by the Zionists. Now, how ISIS controlled by the Zionists? At the end of the day, how can that be? But at the end of the day, anything that happens, it's always the fault of the Jews.